So we are with the star of the show, Curvy Widow, Nancy Opel. Nancy, what made you take on this role? And how did this role come to you?
Okay, well, you know what? Bobby and her gang, 'cause she's a gang leader, approached me last year. She said, "Have lunch with me. I want to talk to you about this." And I did, and we talked about it, and I got the script and the score. And there are times that you get a script and the score, and you kind of go, but this was not one of those times. I didn't have all the songs, but I had a few of them, and I went, okay, this is pretty good. This is good quality stuff. So I read everything, and they said, could you do a demo for a couple songs? Yes, of course. And in a couple of months, they said, we want you to do this, production. We want to do production down in
Arlington,
North Carolina, in Asheville. And it was just one of those things. To me, it is a story that is unique because nobody talks about a woman.
No one talks about women wanting sex.
Over 50.
Ever.
Who's over 50? If you're over 50 and you're in a play or a musical, you are usually like the granny down the street or the wicked stepmother. It is not a story about what makes you tick, what's going on inside of you. What do you need? What are your desires? And I felt like this was something that should be talked about. And we do talk about everything. We talk about hormones and everything. And sometimes it's funny, but also you just go, this is kind of freeing in a way.
Well, I think it's ironic.
Yeah, you go like, why shouldn't we talk about sex?
Well, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I found the older I got, the more I wanted sex, not the opposite.
Well, when you're younger, I don't know if you have kids, but
when
when you've got kids, you're dog tired half the time, because you've got your job and whatever you're doing, plus, you're home, you're taking care of the home and child. Like suddenly you need the costume for the school play. Oh, by the way, I need it by tomorrow. That kind of stuff. You get thrown curveballs all the time, so it's hard to relax and go, I want to do something for me. I feel like I can rest and do things for me. And now I have more time to rest and do things for me. And the more time that you have to sort of chill and feel like you can just calm down and take a breath, of course you want sex. Of course, because you have to worry about pregnancy and all of the other.
I just found my hormones went into like overdrive the time I hit 40.
It's just like I said, it's a story that we just don't hear very much.
I just don't think we talk about it.
No.
For some reason, sex and women is un-PC, and yet we're the biggest watchers of porn.
Yeah. It's
ironic.
It is ironic that for whatever reason, we've seen the stories in movies a lot. When like an older man he's suddenly reawakened by some young woman,
right?
But you don't ever usually get the story of the woman who finds herself alone. And do you equate being alone with being lonely? And see, I think they're two different things.
They are two different things.
Because being alone is not necessarily a bad thing. And I think that's part of the story that I try to tell too. Because so many people if you find yourself midlife by yourself, people think they're doing you a favor by trying to match you up with somebody. Because they think,
right,
that'll make you happy. And I think it takes a year to find being happy single if you've been coupled before.
No, I agree. Even when you're badly coupled.
Yeah.
It still takes time.
Absolutely.
You grieve over even bad relationships.
No. I woke up for a year. I woke up at 4 or 5 in the morning for a year, going, oh my God, did that happen? Oh yeah, that really did happen. Yeah. Okay. And you just have to find your feet, and then this journey, I think, is interesting because it doesn't tie up in a bow.
Well, I hope that from what I'm seeing, that one of the things that it does is that as women we're told we're done once we get to a certain age. And the fact is that A, we're not done, and B, a lot of times that's when we're coming into our stride, and yet we're told we're non-existent.
Yeah. I always call it when I go someplace and you go, why do I feel like I've put the cloak of invisibility on? You know?
Yeah. No, it is like that.
And so it's nice to sort of like be in the spotlight and kind of show that story. You know?
Do you also find that this story tells that where men want younger women, women want men that they're pretty much close to their own age?
We don't do a whole lot of talking about age, age-related stuff. Insofar as, who you go out with, there's certainly age-related stuff in terms of what's going on with my body, and we talk about that.
Yeah, that part sucks.
Yeah, but we talk about it, and we sing about it, actually, So, yeah, I think my bad dates are not so much about that kind of thing as they are about just, you go on dating sites and you go like, wait a minute, there's a lot of people that I would just not go out with because
absolutely,
it's kind of the dregs sometimes if you're not, if you're really careful with not letting that get to you too much.
Well, I love the fact that she never put out a picture.
Yeah, how about that?
That one's the most.
I know. How about that?
And she got hits, and it was successful.
She still is successful.
Oh, I've heard.
She does that. That's where she and I diverge.
But I have to admit, it's a very interesting concept. I mean, did you ever see the movie American Beauty? No.
That's Kevin Spacey?
No, it's about this courtesan in Italy.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a Dangerous Beauty.
Okay, yeah.
There's this great movie called Dangerous Beauty, and when I watched it, I was like, well, damn, if I'd known about this, I'd have been a courtesan since day one.
Yeah, that looks all right.
Yeah, it actually looked way better than, get married, have the 2.5 kids, live in a little greenhouse.
Yep.
If I had been shown I Love Lucy and the Brady Bunch and Father Knows Best,
Yeah, I know.
and then shown Dangerous Beauty, I'd have been like,
I'll
no.
go with that one.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
We're in a very different age where finally we're allowed to speak what really was the truth.
Yeah.
And I think
that's part of what I like about the show, is that it can actually talk about stuff that most people like kick under the rug because they go, oh, unseemly for a woman of your age.